Hi, welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to talk about why we want to cut back and can't. Why is it so challenging for us to quit over drinking once the desire to drink is programmed into our brains? When we learn how to overcome our animal brain with our human brain, we'll be set. We will succeed. We'll be able to stop over drinking. But we can't succeed by doing the same things that didn't work for us in the past. What has brought us this far will not continue to move us forward. We need to change up what we're doing and use the power of our brains to become more conscious. Here are some of the things to think about. We can't stop overdrinking by using willpower alone. We can't stop overdrinking by using resistance alone. Deprivation and withdrawal will keep us stuck in the vicious cycle of deprivation and drinking in order not to feel deprived. On top of this vicious cycle, many of us use alcohol to make our lives more bearable or fun, even though this is just an illusion. Alcohol only makes life seem more bearable and fun. But if you know how your brain works, you can stop overdrinking. Few people are willing to admit that they're struggling with overdrinking because they're afraid of being labeled and stigmatized. We hide it from each other. We hide it from our friends and from our families. Or we glamorize it. We call it mommy juice or the pretty addiction. There are lots of jokes about drinking. We've made it laughable, so we feel like we have some camaraderie around it. We give up on trying to cut down or quit because we don't understand the difference between the struggle against that desire and the actual retraining and managing of that desire. If you go to war against that desire, you're always going to lose because it's your automatic lower brain going up against your long-term brain. If you don't know how to manage it, the immediate brain is always going to win in the present moment. The struggle we feel creates anxiety, which gives us even more reason to want to drink. We see alcohol and we resist it for a moment. We use our willpower, we struggle against it, and that creates anxiety. Most often, we give in to that desire to drink and resolve the anxiety we've created with alcohol. We already have the neural pathway where we've learned that alcohol equals reward, the dopamine hit. In our attempt to quit, we actually create a second neural pathway, one that gives us an additional desire to drink. In our attempt to quit, we're actually training our brains to want it more because we give into that desire after the struggle and perpetuate the idea that alcohol provides relief. If you're one of those people who tried to quit but found yourself drinking even more, that's one of the reasons why. You've created an additional neuro pathway of desire. We do this inadvertently, intensifying our own desire unknowingly, and then most of us believe it means it's escalating and that there's something wrong with us. Really, we've just unknowingly added desire to desire. When we try to stop, the desire intensifies. The more we drink, the more those dopamine receptors downregulate, so we require even more substance to feel the same effect. When we resist, the feeling of deprivation intensifies, which perpetuates the idea that we're unhappy and uncomfortable without alcohol. The thing that's creating the desire is the alcohol. The thing that's solving the desire is the alcohol. It's creating a desire for itself. That's why people think it's so powerful, but it's not. It's not powerful at all unless you add it to your brain. Once you add it to your brain, it creates a reaction that makes your brain think alcohol is more important than it really is. Alcohol is not important at all in the world. It's really not. It's not important for your survival. It's not important for your well being. It's not important for your evolution as a human being. Because of the reaction in the brain puts a huge importance on it. Being able to drink isn't normal, and not being able to isn't abnormal. In our society, the ability to drink without getting addicted is classified as normal, as if alcohol is part of our lives. And if you're unable to drink it without getting addicted, you somehow have a disease. People who are able to drink alcohol without becoming addicted or don't have a preference for it are amazing. But people who can't do it aren't abnormal. Alcohol was never something we were meant to concentrate the way we have and use in the way we have. People who can't tolerate it are not diseased. They are healthy and they have a natural response to a substance that creates a perpetual desire. Let's revisit the vicious cycle. We try to quit drinking, and in the process, we create a feeling of deprivation. We feel anxiety. We create the idea that there's something wrong with us. We create the idea that we're completely out of control. And this, of course, leads us to drink more and more and more. And this perpetuates the idea that there's something wrong with us. And this leads us to seek more relief in alcohol. This perpetuates the problem. This is true even on a small scale. For example, going from drinking one glass of wine to two or three or maybe four. You can see how quickly that can increase. It's the same with food. When we start depriving ourselves of sugar, we go through sugar withdrawal. We want it even more, and then we eat it even more, and then we want it even more. We compound the problem by justifying it. The smarter we are, the better we are at justifying the problem, creating thoughts that make drinking and overdrinking okay. We're creating even more desire to drink. We'll say, oh, it was just one. It doesn't matter. I'm totally fine. Everybody drinks. We don't even realize at the time that our justifications are perpetuating this process, giving us many more negative beliefs and thoughts that create additional desire, which makes us feel even more out of control, which makes us want to resist it more, which creates deprivation, which makes the cycle continue. Willpower is not in unlimited supply. The problem with trying to use willpower is that willpower depletes itself. We have a limited amount of willpower. When we use it, it's what we call white knuckling it. We've decided to fight against this desire. We're trying to resist it. We're feeling deprived. We're feeling terrible. All we want is relief. Now we feel worse than we did before. Once our willpower depletes itself, we give in and drink, and then we perpetuated the whole cycle again. If you try to use willpower, if you try to use resistance, if you try to talk yourself out of it, if you've justified yourself, it has likely all made the desire to drink even stronger. We don't even realize we're perpetuating the desire that's creating the problem in the first place. We're trying to take care of ourselves, but we're creating the exact opposite result. In the next lesson, we're going to talk about how to use our brains to get out of the vicious cycle we're in.